Hello, my name is XONEVANT. Today is Wednesday, May the 14th, and this is your Daily Dose. So I'm pretty sure by now a lot of you realize that I'm a big Darksiders fan. I released a video at the beginning of the year talking about how it was one of my top 5 franchises of the last generation, and we just got an update, so I figured I would talk to you guys about it. So the creative director and comic book artist for Darksiders has hinted that there will be a third installment to the franchise. He was participating in a Q&A on Facebook and said, quote, "Darksiders is not dead. Nordic seems very committed to continuing the series." Now, like I said, this doesn't necessarily guarantee that there's going to be a third game, but it's a fair indication that it will eventually come to market. Now, he was eventually asked would he be a part of the development of Darksiders 3, and he said that he couldn't really comment right now, but hopefully somewhere down the line he'd be able to tell us more about the franchise. Now, like I said, this makes me extremely happy, guys. I'm a big fan of this series. I'm not sure of how many of you guys out there are big fans of this series, but you know, it has a very unique storyline and the characters are memorable and very fun to play with. Now, in my mind, I can't really see them going forward with another Darksiders game without this dude, you know what I mean? Because the art style is so unique, you see, and we've become accustomed to it, and unless they can find another artist out there who can match it to that level of quality, then I just don't think it'll feel like the same Darksiders game, you know what I mean? Now, you got to keep this in mind. If they decide to do a third installment of the game, it almost guarantees that they're going to be giving us that fourth game too, because we all know that this was supposed to be a 4-part series anyway. So it would be kind of a waste of time and a waste of money for them to produce the third game and then not produce the fourth. Now, a lot of people are speculating that we might hear more about this at E3, and while I think that would be freaking epic, you know, I would go bonkers to hear some more about this at E3. You know, it just seems a little bit sudden at this point. It seems like they would have already teased it by now or maybe leaked it to the press or something like that. But it would be cool if they decided to show us, you know, Darksiders 3 at E3. It would definitely brighten up E3 for me. I mean, I'm looking for a bunch of other stuff too, but, you know, a Darksiders 3 game, man, would just be freaking epic for me. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is Microsoft is actually set to remove the paywall, right, between Netflix, Hulu, and some of those other, you know, apps that you can have on your Xbox One. These are apps that you would have normally had to pay for, right, through the Gold service to be able to actually use them. Whereas, you know, you can use these free apps anywhere else on the internet. Heck, you can use them on your phone, and they're free to use. But for whatever reason, when you hit up Xbox, you had to pay to use them. In other words, you were having to pay $60 a year, not just to play online multiplayer and that sort of thing, but to access these quote-unquote free services, right, that you could get on other devices. You would have to pay for that on the Xbox. Now, if this rumor is true, this would allow Microsoft to remain competitive with Sony and Nintendo because they don't have these paywall structures in place. Now, I personally think this is a great idea. This has always been one of those things in the back of my mind that's seemed a little bit fishy. I mean, most people who play Xbox, you know, I would think they're going online anyway, so they're paying that fee anyway, and so it's probably not that big of a deal to them whether that stuff is locked behind the paywall or not, because, you know, really you don't get your Xbox to watch Netflix. I mean, you get your Xbox to play games. If you're going online and you're paying the $60 anyway, then it all just seems like, you know, a nice seamless transition. You see what I mean? Oh, I can still do my Netflix thing. You don't even really feel it. You don't even really notice it. But you know, there are people, you know, who even in 360 PS3, right, even in that era, they bought their console for playing games, and then they realized they didn't want to play games anymore, and they would use their console strictly for, like with the PS3, some people would just use it for Blu-rays, you know what I mean, and that sort of thing. So for those type of people, having this paywall not exist anymore for those services is a good move. So my hat goes off to Microsoft here. I think this is a good move. Hopefully this little quote-unquote rumor is true, and this goes away pretty soon. So one more thing before I let you guys go. Adam Sessler is actually going to be showing up on some podcasts here soon. He tweeted it out the other day. You know, he's been kind of quiet since he left Rev 3 Games, which is, I totally respect that. And but you know, it'd be good to have him back into the media again, publicly talking about the industry, giving his opinion about the industry. He's just one of those kind of people that we need his opinion in the industry. It resonates, and we need that. And he's going to start showing up on some podcasts. He's been asked, and he says, you know what, it's about time to fulfill those promises to get on some of these shows. He was actually asked a lot while he was at Rev 3, And you know, I don't know if he was not able to do it because he was a part of Rev 3, if that was contractual, or if he just didn't have the time to do it, but he says that now it's time. So if you guys want to follow him on Twitter, then you know, you can stay up to date with which shows he's going to be on. I'll probably let you guys know as well, because I know a lot of you guys are fans of Adam Sessler too, so that's just good. It's good to know that he's going to be out there again talking to us about the industry and where it's heading. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's show, and I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow.